Alright, here we got guitar number 205, and you saw this in the previous video in the tuning stability demonstration. And this is guitar 205, which means it's the 205th guitar that I have built in my life, in this life anyway. And it is serial number 151019. 15th day of the 10th month of 2019 is when it was completed, and I'm just going to run through a little bit. It's a two-piece Alder, what almost all Strats are made of. It's exactly a vintage Strat shape, except it's cut out here and it's cut out here. It has a much better high fret access than any regular traditional Strat has, and it goes up to 24 frets here. So the whole inspiration behind this guitar and the one that follows this one, which you will also see, was the fact that I was thinking that we don't have any Stratocaster prototypes from Fender, from Leo Fender, like we have a few Telecasters that have survived, and we can see them in photographs anyway, but no Stratocasters that I can think of. So I just imagined as what the prototypes may have looked like, coming from the origins of the Tele, of course. And so I know that it was a little bit later that some musician, I think it was Bill Carson, that also worked for Fender, suggested that they give the new guitar, the Stratocaster, cutouts here, comfort cutouts. The belly cut right here, and then also the elbow cutaway here, contour. But the first prototypes, even though we have no survivors, probably Leo just used it for firewood. He didn't waste anything. And who would have thought that people would be interested anyway? So he built, I imagine, built the first ones on the basis of the Telecaster in terms of design. So as you can see, this has sharp edges, just like a Telecaster. It has no comfort contouring. It has the Telecaster jack plate. It has the first generation and also prototype first generation Telecaster bass. The first precision bass had a very similar control plate, and also the prototype Telecasters had, some of them had this early control plate, and I had to fabricate this myself. I used a full-size Telecaster jack control plate. Now, it cannot be done from a standard Telecaster control plate because the spacing of the knobs is in a different position. As you can see, on my custom regular Telecaster jack plates, I had fixed that other design problem where the knob is very close to the switch, and you can barely put a finger in there either to activate the switch or the knob. So I could make this custom shaped jack plate from one of my regular Telecaster jack plates. I hope this makes sense, because I have this greater space, so it works out perfectly actually. Just a master volume here. There is no tone control. I have to add that the knobs you see are exact replicas of 1952 knobs. However, as I mentioned before, if you've been paying attention, these are not brass knobs. Brass is very heavy. Brass has lead in it. Brass is very heavy. Brass is easy to plate, easy to machine, but it's very heavy, and there's no way I'm going to put a heavy knob on such an amazing and lightweight guitar. Only a hack would do that. And I know there's a lot of you hacks out there. My goodness, there's masses of you hacks out there. Yeah, well, this is not a place for hacking. This is where you respect and you know the guitar. You know the guitar intimately. This is the place for that. You gotta follow the etiquette. Gotta respect guitar history, tradition, and craftsmanship. You gotta respect the design. You gotta follow the details. So these are custom made. I paid a lot of money to have these made. They're aluminum knobs, 52 Telecaster replicas made of aluminum. Oh, I better not forget an extremely cool feature about this guitar. Very unique. Maybe you've never ever seen this ever before. So here you go. I hope you're subscribed to my channel. Do that right now. We're not going to go on until you subscribe. Okay, I'm going to wait for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to miss out on this. You're going to miss out on all the future cool stuff. Really cool shit coming up, as always. Show your appreciation for all that I'm doing for you. Come on. You got to subscribe. I know that you have subscribed to all the Sesame Street Mr. Rogers guitar channels, and they're telling you absolutely fucking nothing. They're leaving you as stupid as ever, even stupider. Not here. All right. Well, if you think that's a 5-way switch, like any standard Strat style guitar has, well, you'd be totally wrong. Okay, watch this. Okay, position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, and position 6. Have you ever seen anything like it? This is the 6-way blade switch, which most people don't even know about it, don't even know it exists. Alright, so this is a dream come true for me. Now, just amazing. Now let me go through this, okay? So this is the bridge alone. This is bridge and middle together. This is middle alone, just like on a regular Strat. This is middle and neck together, okay? This is neck alone, all right? Now what is the 6th extra position? What is that extra position on here? Well, it's the only other tone that you need, and the tone that is not found on any traditional Stratocaster. So all these people that are buying their you know, they're so excited. They think they're, oh, I'm getting a Stratocaster. You fucking dummy, you. Anyway, none of them can get this. And this 6th position is bridge and neck together, which you don't get on any Strat. All right. So on a Strat, there's actually 7 different possibilities, switching possibilities, theoretically, right? 7. And the 7th position, you guessed it, is all 3 pickups together. However, as enticing as that sounds, it is not a good sound. I have experimented with it and experienced it when I build these guitars using 3 mini switches, where, you know, I can get all 7 sounds. So I'm not missing the 7th sound. It's basically the same sound as neck and middle together, but it's darker and muddier sounding. So there's really no use for it. I'm talking all 3 pickups on together. But what is really helpful is this position here, the 6th position, which is bridge and neck together. And it's basically what you would get on, well, I'm loosely describing it as you would get on a Telecaster. However, it's not the same, because the Telecaster, the traditional Telecaster neck pickup with its nickel cover, is not exactly the most coveted pickup in the world or sound in the world, and it kind of muddies it. Now that's not the case with the way I build Tellies, and you will see that in the future. In fact, I have invented a new Telecaster neck pickup, which I will show you. It's very, very cool, and it solves that muddiness that I guess Leo was going for a bass sound, so it's perfect for that. In fact, he even had the wiring to go along with that neck pickup to get a very muddy, bassy, low-end, no sparkle type of sound. So he had that in mind, and he achieved it, but not for modern playing. I mean, that was before he even invented the bass, right? So on this one, you get a true bridge and neck sound with all the sparkle and all the bite and all the brightness that you should be getting from the Telecaster in that position. All right, I almost forgot to show you this. Well, there it is. A 6-way bleed switch. 3 pickups as usual. However, slightly different setup here, because spacing here because of the 24 frets, so everything is closer together. A few other differences. The spacing is different for the center, for the middle pickup, and obviously the middle pickup is also angled, because another design problem on a standard Stratocaster is that the pole pieces don't line up. The strings don't line up with the pickup pole pieces. So I've taken care of that. These are standard Stratocaster spacings. I believe they're, I don't know, they're 54 or something like that, 55 from center to center. So to get them to line up better, I angled this one, obviously, as it should be, and also angled the middle one. And then, very interesting for the neck one, if you've got a Stratocaster or a copy of a Stratocaster, you will notice that the pole pieces, the magnets, do not line up with the strings, especially on your neck pickup. So this is a complete fabrication of mine. All the flat work underneath the cover, bottom and top plates, I fabricated, hand drilled, because I put a, I believe a 50 millimeter pole piece spread, and then I had to cut out the holes of the cover to match it. So It's a much better alignment situation here, and this is the way I'm going to do it. I did find recently 50 millimeter covers, so in the future I won't have to manually cut them out. All right, so Pau Ferro fingerboard. It is so this is a compound radius fingerboard, and it goes from 10-inch radius up here and 16-inch radius down here. From 10 to 16, Pau Ferro fingerboard, maple position markers as usual. All right, I almost forgot to tell you that about the frets. Well, the frets are, these days, I only use stainless steel frets, so these are stainless steel frets. Hopefully, they will never have to be replaced. I'm trying my hardest to stop a hack having to touch any of these guitars. You know what I mean? So stainless steel frets, and they are 3 millimeters wide, just a little bit under. I'm going to give you the metric measurement just to mess you up. And there's always 24, sometimes 26, but this has got 24 frets. All right, might as well get a full 2 octaves. What do you think? Does that make sense? I guess most guitar players haven't figured that one out. We're working on them. It's a slow process. A lot of them still think we went to the moon. And then I have my proprietary nut and retainer bar, hand fabricated, Clouson style locking tuners. You know, it's got to be vintage. The theme has got to be vintage. You can't touch this unless you're a hack, you know, and you're going to hack the whole thing up. It will no longer have that the theme. You'll disturb it all. Also, as I have always mentioned, and try to comprehend this, it'll be hard for you, but the whole thing mechanically, functionally works as a system. Every component you see works together with every other component. They depend on each other, just like the human body. You can't just fucking remove an organ. Can't do that or change the organ. The whole thing will die. And you never want these things to be like any other regular guitar. That's fucking horrible. That's a tragedy. That's disgusting. That's degenerate. Pure evil. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing can be disturbed, replaced, or changed, because the system is a whole. It can only work as a whole, and these things are only defined as a system, and I designed that system for it to work like no other. Try to comprehend this as much as like try hard, concentrate, try to grasp it, try to comprehend it. And of course, tremendous tremolo, and you will see the tuning, and as you could see, it's up and down. Whoops. Okay, so this is after a lot of abuse. I'm doing this part of the video after I did my playing demonstration. So anyway, you'll get an idea here. It goes down into the body and all the way to slack the strings as well. So it's a totally floating tremolo. For all you tinkerers out there, there's a lot to learn here, isn't there? Oh, I wish I could get guitar players to watch my stuff. I guess I don't attract guitar players, I attract tinkerers. Oh well, that's life. So, my signature 2-spring setup, and everything is relict. Everything is it's got to go with the theme. All the details have to be taken care of. As you can see, the tuners, you can see the serial number, and beautiful neck. Beautiful neck. This is an oiled neck. However, the body has got a very thin coat of, or several very thin coats, there's hardly anything on there, of clear, real nitrocellulose lacquer. So it's just a very organic feel, as you can maybe, hopefully imagine. You know, it's the best that we can do at this point. And, you know, the whole setup is much nicer than on a regular Strat. How it's sculptured and rounded here, and it's just much more player friendly, much more stability for the neck because the holes are much further apart. I mean, on a regular Strat, the holes are like here and there. So, and then of course the spike neck joint. The whole neck sits on the spike. It doesn't sit on the body, flush to the body. And there you go. There you go. What else can I tell you about it? Yeah, the pickups. I had a DiMarzio pickup. I got to use up the pickups I have. So I stuck in this DiMarzio bridge pickup. It was the hottest one. And I put a steel bottom plate on it, just like on a Telecaster. So this is a very different setup, a different tone. It's very bright, very powerful. It cuts like a knife. And these two are completely my own. Wound them and fabricated them. At least this one I fabricated completely. You know, the bobbin, the whole bit. So I built these to match the existing DiMarzio bridge pickup, and that's about it. Oh yeah, the pick guard is shaped also. You gotta be faithful. You can't commit sacrilege whenever you're building a guitar. A lot of people don't have that nuance, and it just bothers me. It just shows their ignorance, and you know, maybe they should pick up another hobby and not even touch a guitar. But talking about nuances and the theme is so fucking important. You gotta understand. I mean, to a lot of you it wouldn't be, but to me it is. And yeah. It's a good thing the string didn't play while I was showing the several tuning demonstrations on this guitar, because that I wouldn't have been able to keep that demonstration. I would have to change the string and redo it all. So I'm glad it actually broke now through after all that abuse. Oh my god. But the pick guard, yeah, the pick guard, if you know anything about Fender history, is the shape, or it's reminiscent of anyway. It's inspired by the prototype Telecaster pickguard shapes before the Telecaster went into production, and also reminiscent of, again, the 1951, the very first, what they call Telecaster bass or precision bass, also had a similarly shaped, at least right here, pickguard. So that had to go on here, because you got to understand, this is an imagined Stratocaster prototype as to what the prototypes may have been. But of course, whatever the prototypes were, would have never matched this guitar in performance. This is, again, you know, as with all my Strats, especially the highly developed recent ones, if you're going to say that this is a, well, which it is, a Strat style instrument in that vein, you know, built on that platform, I build the best Strats in the world, bar none, and I encourage anyone to challenge me on that in terms of just the performance of these instruments, the capabilities of these instruments. If you want to call something a super Strat, well, this is a super Strat, not the plastic dipped atrocities that you find everywhere, from $99 up to thousands of dollars. It's also incomparable to a so-called Fender Custom Shop Strat, which is basically mimicking all the design faults and disadvantages of the original Strat, which, you know, the original Strat obviously is a masterpiece, but it has many faults, but it doesn't matter, right? Obviously it doesn't matter, because whoever, you know, most people that buy guitars are not buying the guitars, not even so much to play them. It's a fantasy type of purchase. And so what I do is really of no value to, I would say, 90% of the guitar consumer. So that's the way it goes. But here it is. Oh, and the other thing is that it had to have, I wanted to get this whole theme of, I don't know, it's a rare thing to see a natural colored Strat. There's not too many of them out there, so that's why they're unique, and I like the natural look, especially of the alder. Natural alder is even more rare than, let's say, natural ash would be, and as it's sprayed with a vintage toned clear finish, I think I really captured that antique look on it. And on top of that, it had to have gold hardware. It's something about a natural guitar with gold hardware that really excites me. So there you go. I don't know what else I can tell you about it, but that's it.
All right, here we go. Neck and middle. Middle. Perfect tuning. Bridge pickup. Back to neck. Now, the position that you don't get on a Strat. Bridge and neck together. Now compare this to what you do get on a Strat, which is neck and middle together. Now back to bridge and neck. Back again, neck and middle. Neck only. Alright, press down on the bridge. You hear that? I put it on a tube. Fully floating bridge. Did you hear that, Mr. Rockstar? I don't know how this tune goes. Middle only. Middle only. Bridge only. Neck only. Listen to the sustain. It's a spike neck joint. How does this fucking song go? Holy shit. Listen to that. Perfect tuning. Listen to that fucking tone. Okay, let's go the position that this tune should be played on. Neck and middle. Listen to that. answers right here.
Alright dudes, can you hear me? Somebody asked me what amp I'm using right now. I asked him to identify himself. He wouldn't do that. All these anonymous fucking freaks on the internet. My God, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? You're afraid you're gonna be found out? Are you hiding something? Did you do something really bad, nasty, and fucking dirty and criminal? What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, this is serial number 1. Doesn't focus. Anyway, 13564. A13564. Why don't people disclose their serial numbers on the internet? I could never figure that one out. I guess they stole the equipment. They're afraid that the original owner is going to find out. My goodness. All you freaks on the fucking internet. Anyway, you know what this is? You should be able to guess just by looking at the back of it. I worked on this. Look at that. I put that quarter on there. Hey, isn't that cool? I soldered it on. First of all, I replaced the original 2-prong cord to a grounded 3-prong cord. For safety. You got to do that. You just got to do it. Look at that. It's on right now. It's got a brand new Jensen speaker. The only speaker that you should put in here. It's in perfect condition. And it's the cabinet serial number. That was the chassis serial number. This is the other serial number. The date code is found on the tube chart inside the amp cabinet. It's PK. PK meaning well, I'll show you the front of it. Okay, so look at that. Look how nice that is. And you know what this is, don't you? It's a Princeton Reverb. Oh, it's so awkward. I don't have a studio. I'm not a YouTube celeb. It's a Princeton Reverb, and PK means it's November 1966. So the chassis is from 64, and then they finally made it. They took a chassis from 64, I believe, and then they incorporated it into a new amp in 66, and the amp is a 66. It's still pre-CBS. It's considered still pre-CBS. I believe what Fender did also with their guitars is they made the metal part which the serial number went on, and they made a whole bunch of those parts, and they stamped them all with serial numbers, and then they put it in on the shelf or in the bin in storage, and then they would just randomly pull out these metal parts. In the case of amps, it was the chassis, so they randomly pulled them out when it was time to actually build the amp. So they must have made the chassis in 64 and stamped it, and then they actually made the amp that it went into in 66, because these amps came out, I believe, late 64. The very first Princeton Reverb blackface amps, and then they were making them all the way up to, what is it, 68 or something, and then it became the silver face version of this amp, which is not a pre-CBS. That's a CBS amp, not a pre-CBS amp. The silver face version of this amp, which are not as coveted as these ones are. These are the original ones. So in essence, these are considered all pre-CBS amps. And the chassis actually is made in 64. So I have 3 of them. 3 identical ones, blackface Princeton Reverbs, and they're all like beautiful shape and working perfectly. This is my number one, because the first one I bought. Then I have another one, which is a 65, and another one also, which is a 60. So two 66s and one 65. Identical Princeton Reverb amps. However, they do sound slightly different, each one. And they all have Jensen 10-inch new Jensen speakers in it. These are the last amps that Leo designed, and they're the most sophisticated Fender amps, the blackface amps. And there it is. I call this my number one. I even got a little number one there. See, can you see that? Yeah, and it's because it's the first one I bought, and I bought it about I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 15 years ago, and it's all original. I did the caps though. I replaced the caps, and I replaced the speaker because it came with a still a vintage but Celestion speaker. You don't put Celestion speakers in these. Come on, you just don't get that sound. You don't get that Fender tone. You don't get the right tone out of this. You really don't. It's not actually even a nice tone with something like a Celestion. So I still got that speaker, but it's just not the right speaker for this. So so that's the correct Fender tone, and it's perfect. I did a few tiny little mods on it, like the reverb wasn't designed correctly, the reverb control, that is, and you know, to run the reverb already at 3, these things are like maximum reverb at 3, so that had to be taken care of. I mean, it's nice to run it. I'm running it at 6.5, but I'm actually not even using the reverb on this. It's turned off. As you could see, I've got a cable in here, the red and white, and that goes to a foot switch. It's a 2-button foot switch that switches the reverb and the vibrato on and off, and sometimes I use it. A lot of times it's just convenient to have a reverb in a pedal form, even though this has very nice reverb to it. Sometimes I use both if I want a lot of reverb. And the tremolo, I did a mod on the trem too. That wasn't designed properly either. The trem on these is pretty weak, and it's just because it needs a new resistor in there. The reverb needs a different value pot, and so just minor stuff, nothing to ruin it or anything like that. And you know, you had to run the intensity of the tremolo. You had to run it like way up high and the reverb had to be way low. That's just the way they were designed. So now, you know, you can run this thing at 4 and it's nice, you know. But anyway, what more can I tell you? It's an original 1966. I got it for less money than the printed circuit board reissue. What a total fucking joke. Seriously. I got this for less money than the printed circuit board modern version of this. I think is like 53, 54 years old. And it's beautiful shape. And what they call hand wired, there's 2 current new versions of this. There's the regular printed circuit board version, and then there's what they call the hand wired version, which is like supposed to be identical to this one, but I don't think it is. You look inside and it's It may be hand wire, but it's all like modern looking. It doesn't look like the originals inside, and I don't want that. I want it, you know, antique, raw looking. None of this streamlined modern wiring in there, and it's just not right. And anyway, they call that the hand wired, and what, they're about $2,000. Actually, over 2,000. Who knows? Maybe $2,500 right now. I'd rather have the original, thank you. Give me a break. How about having an original? Is that not as good? Anyway, that's the amp that you heard, or you're going to hear in this video, and it is super good. It is magnificent. It is sublime, and as you can see, it's in very nice shape. Cleaned it up, changed the caps, not all the caps, just some of the caps, the bypass caps and the tone caps, and she is doing good. She is playing good. All right, so identify yourselves. Don't hide on the internet unless you got some really fucking dirty to hide, man. Maybe your ex-wife's gonna find out that you look at naked pony pictures or something. I don't know what you do on there, but you're sure hiding. So I'm not hiding. You know who I am. I got my face right in front of you. Nothing to hide, my friends. Nothing to hide. You only gotta be careful of the nice guys out there. They're the ones you should worry about. Not the rude motherfuckers like me. We won't hurt ya. Anyway, that's it.